Okay, so like I said, I want to unite these two theories. So we have a theory on one hand, which is time does not exist. That's the Buddhist theory. It's only the observation of change, which creates the illusion of time. And the other theory, which time does exist, but it's another dimension. Okay, fourth dimension includes the time dimension. 3D, we have length, width, height. Okay, fourth dimension, length, width, height plus time. Um, Now, I spent a lot of time on that second video, so we're going to jump right into how can you unite these things, because I think the first theory is correct. I also think the second theory is correct, but they seem to contradict each other. How can they contradict each other yet both be accurate? Now, we have to think about the first theory coming from the Buddha. There's no way the Buddha was wrong about this. He was a master, the greatest of all time, one of the greatest of all time. He harped on this. This is a big deal to him. Very important teaching of his. Anicca was one of his biggest teachings. And he could observe it because he was such a master, so obviously he was right. He had to have been right. I'm not just blindly following the Buddha. He talked about this a lot. He fleshed it out a lot. He makes it very clear. Okay? And you can study what he said exactly for yourselves. I'm summing it up really fast. Now, the second theory I also think has to be correct. But how can one be correct and not is you have to think about, well, in this dimension, the space-time dimension which you're in, we can freely move around space. But time is moving in such a way that we only have now, but we're observing change. So time doesn't exist. Space, we can freely move around. Time doesn't exist. Now, when we flip to the time-space dimension, I think the exact opposite occurs. So we can freely move around time, but space doesn't exist. There only is here. This dimension, there only is now. There only is here. Okay? So what would that look like? We're in now, let's say we're in the time-space dimension. Let's put ourselves there. Whatever that looks like, I have no idea. We're freely moving around time there. The way we move around space here, we can maneuver it easily. Okay? Walk from one place to another. I don't know how that works. That's just the way, that's the theory. Okay? So, let's say we go there. We move from one place to another place. Maybe it's a distant place. Maybe it's not very far. I don't know. But then when we decelerate below the speed of light and come back to this dimension, and all of our photons come back here, the 3D world, now we'll be in the exact same place where we were when we left, except now the time is different. So I'm sitting here when I left, I'm sitting right here again. Except now maybe I'm 500 years in the past, maybe 500 years in the future. Maybe this house doesn't even exist. This house wouldn't exist. But I'm in the same spot, the exact same coordinates, and who knows? Maybe there's just a pile of rubble here. Maybe there's a skyscraper here. I don't know. But this is where I am. So you can see how complicated that could be, how dangerous might be able to be, but definitely something worth investing. And this is the only way, in my mind, how you can unite the two. So they can both be true at the same time without contradicting themselves, even though they appear to be pretty contradictory. They aren't. They aren't. If you could just acknowledge that here we can freely move around space, time doesn't exist, and there you can freely move around time, space doesn't exist. There only is here. Here there only is now.